Donkey Kong 64 is an amazing game that gets totally crapped on by a bunch of garbage people who don't deserve to have an opinion about anything. Now I know what you're thinking. Goopy, Donkey Kong 64 is like 1,000 years old. Why are you reviewing it? Isn't it a little late? Well, my answer to that is no. It's never too late, because even to this day I see so much nonsense, uninformed hate for this game, and it really grinds my gears. The amount of bullshit complaints that disregard the game for what it is makes me blow a gasket. Now let me start with this. Yes, the game has flaws, okay? I understand that. I'm not saying it's perfect. Having to go all the way back to the tag barrel to switch between Kongs to get certain colored bananas and hit certain switches is ridiculous, okay? I know that. But when you compare it to other games around that time, Donkey Kong 64 is a work of art. Look at the piece of shit games that came from that generation, like fucking Superman, Mike Piazza's Strike Zone, for fuck's sake, Razor Freestyle Scooter. Donkey Kong shits in the mouth of all those games for so many different reasons, and let me start with one of my favorite aspects of that game, the music. If you think the soundtrack to this game isn't one of the most well-created, ear-pleasing musical scores you've ever heard, you probably listen to weird, screaming SoundCloud rappers as your only source of music. The original soundtrack for this game makes you experience emotions while you play, and it completely immerses you in the world of Donkey Kong. The mermaid's music makes you feel sympathetic when you find out she lost her pearls. The fairy's music will have you in tears when she tells you about how she lost all of her fairies and they're gone. When you get to the scarier levels like Creepy Castle, the music is actually scary and it gives you the chills. And let's not forget about the final level, you know, Hideout Helm, and how the music gives you a sense of urgency and anxiety while you just watch the time tick down, and it never stops ticking until it hits 0. It doesn't matter if you're in a barrel, loading, playing, listening to squawk, the timer just never stops. And while all that stuff is going down, all you hear is this music in the background. So don't try to tell me that this game isn't good, especially when it has a soundtrack that by itself is a masterpiece. Now on to the actual levels themselves. Aside from the collection issues, the levels are really wonderfully designed. You start out on DK Isle, which is basically the hub for all the other levels. There's so many things to go around and discover right off the bat. There's the entire island itself, and then you can go to the Fairies Island and check that out. Then you see in the distance K. Rool's ship, you go over there, and it has its own set of levels, and then you could even go to the prison cell that's connected to K. Rool's fucking ship, and you meet the big doofus K. Lumsy who just wants his freedom. Each level makes you dive into a completely different world with its own set of hidden things to explore, new creatures to meet, and new challenges to complete. And yes, I know that rhymed. Now there's two different kinds of levels here that I like to break into my own categories. There's the visually aesthetic levels, like Crystal Caves, Angry Aztec, and my favorite, Fungi Forest, which is basically just a fun, beautiful, colorful fantasy world by day, but then at night it turns into a fucking horror shit show filled with ghouls and other creepy things that are trying to kill you. And then that's the transition to the scarier levels now. You have Creepy Castle, Hideout Helm, and K. Rool's ship itself is scary, because the second you leave DK's island and get to K. Rool's ship, the bright blue sky turns gray, and it starts pouring rain, and the music just gets darker. But no matter what the theme is, every level had new missions to complete and mysteries to discover, and this was before the days of looking everything up on IGN and getting a complete step-by-step baby hand-holding walkthrough to just guide you through everything. There was actually fun and mystery in these old games because you didn't know what you were gonna come across. And listen, I get the game could be challenging, okay? But you know what? These people need to stop complaining about beating the DK arcade game. Holy shit, what the fuck? It's not that hard. If you can't handle this, just go play Little Pee-wee Baby Mansion 3 instead, because you clearly can't handle a real video game. Just grow up. You act like Super Mario Maker isn't filled with new bullshit, insane, mind-fucking stroke-inducing levels every 10 seconds. Video games are meant to challenge you, not hand out participation trophies like Little League Baseball. And moving on from the level design, the story was so amazing. King K. Rool just pulls up one day in the middle of the ocean, pulls out his giant fucking blast-o-matic and tries to blow up DK Isle. He kidnaps his friends and shit. Are you fucking shitting me? Is that not crazy? And God forbid you ever get to the game over screen. You just have to sit there and watch K. Rool laugh maniacally while the blast-o-matic charges up and aims right for DK Isle, and then everything just fades to black. All you're left with is nothing but your imagination to picture the total destruction of DK and all of his friends on the island. Are you fucking joking me? That's terrifying. That's a great game right there. And then it leads up to the final boss, which is K. Rool himself, and you fight him in a boxing ring, switching between every Kong, just taking turns beating his fucking ass in the ring round after round to get your revenge for trying to blow up your shit. So I don't want to hear shit about how this game's bad anymore, okay? Yes, I'm not saying you have to love it, I'm not even saying you have to like it, just stop shitting on it for the dumbest things ever. Yeah, okay, you had to play the same minigame a few times. Get the fuck over it. What else were you doing? Nothing? And that just boils down to the limits of the Nintendo 64 itself, so give this shit a fucking break already. This was in 1999, okay? So there you go. Donkey Kong 64 is actually a masterpiece, and I don't want to hear this other bullshit unless you have a real argument against it. If you don't like it, and you have an actual reason, feel free to comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to check out my other videos, okay? I work hard on them. I think they're pretty funny, and I'd really appreciate it if you checked it out. So, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next Friday.